Hey y'all, how y'all doing? It's me, I'm back. It's Schelli here. Um, Yo, I don't want to say life has been lifing because everybody says that, but it's so true. But in a good way. Like life has been lifing in a very good way for me. So I'm not complaining at all. But there has just been a lot going on, a lot of transition for me. And I've been absent. I mean, I've been around on social media, like, Instagram and TikTok, but I just have not had a chance to chat with y'all here on YouTube or even make a long form video. And I'm not gonna lie, I have been recording. I've been recording a lot. I've even recorded a 2024 recap, I think back in March. And at that point, yes, the video would have been late, but it would have been before August of 2025. But y'all, I lost that footage. I accidentally deleted the footage and then I just got discouraged, and my transition out of the Air Force just picked up, my daughter graduating high school, all the things that just kind of happened around the same time, and life was lifing. But like I said, in a good way. There's just been a lot of transition and a lot of change, and I just decided to turn the camera on today. I was just like, you know what? I need to turn this camera on. I actually heard a quote earlier that really kind of lit a fire under me about just being motivated, and I was sitting here. I didn't have much going on, and I'm like, there's no time like the present to re-record this video, to catch up with all of this community here on YouTube, because if I'm being honest, I missed y'all. It's like all the social media is good, but it's like, there's different people, and I really kind of miss chatting with y'all in the comments and all the things. But is it me, or has social media changed a little bit? Like with the whole vlogs and all the things. So I just got discouraged. Like, oh man, I gotta do this. My camera, where is it? Like, where's my lights? All the things. But I'm showing up. I'm showing up for myself. I'm showing up for you guys. But anyway, back to the recap. I felt like skipping a recap of 2024, no matter how late it is. I feel like I'd be like skipping tradition. I feel like it's customary. So let's jump into that. Okay, y'all, so 2024 started off kind of rocky too. I actually spent January through the beginning of March in school. And what sucks about it is I did not get notified until the week before Christmas that I was gonna have to go to this school. I believe I left around the 5th or the 8th of January in 2024. I don't remember the exact date, but it was that first week. So I was super mad because if you know, I spent April through October of 2023 in Europe. So I was able to sew, luckily, because I took my sewing machine, but I really wasn't able to sew at the level that I would have if I would have been here at home. And so I came home, I had all these goals, and I was getting ready for my 2024 to find out I was gonna spend the first 2.5 months away from my sewing machine again. And I decided not to take my sewing machine to school because a lot of times in those schools, you really have enough schoolwork to keep you busy. And between like volunteer events or whatever the heck they make you do on the weekends, I just decided I was gonna leave it here. So for the month of January and February, I don't have anything to show for it. So kind of sucks, but I was able to check my schooling off. So March, the first thing I created was a beauty bag by Sewn Ideas, which, you guys, I love this beauty bag so much. It seems a lot more in depth than it actually is. There are a lot of parts, but they come together so quick. And with all bags, I feel like there is more prep work than actual sewing. So this bag was my contribution to the sorority retreat. I gave it away as one of the sponsors. Next up, I made a custom embroidered blanket, and y'all, this is by far, hands down, my favorite baby gift. One reason is because the return on investment. Most time, these babies have these blankets for 4, 5 years and they really get a lot of wear out of them. Plus, who doesn't love a custom blanket with your newborn baby's name on it? It's a win-win. All right, so my next make for the month of March was Emmy 2054, which was a pair of denim pants by, I believe, Kichibi Style. Y'all, these pants, there were a lot of pieces to these pants, and I know a lot of people were apprehensive about making them because there were so many pieces, but I know I say this a lot, but they really did come together pretty quickly. And one thing that I love about all Know Me patterns is that they come, sorry y'all, there is a mosquito in here and it just bit me on the back of the neck. I just took a break to try to find it, but I don't know where it is. And now I'm just itching and paranoid that the mosquito is biting me. So if you see me slapping at myself, I'm not crazy. There is a mosquito in here. It actually landed on my notebook, but I was not fast enough to swat it away, and it's still in here eating me up. But anyway, let's keep going. So my last make for March was Vogue 9311, which is this dress I made to go to the sneaker ball. And if I'm being completely honest, I made the dress. I think it came out okay. I wasn't super happy with this one. I think it was way too big. I know it was way too big. I actually got a comment here on YouTube where someone saying it was a no for them and the dress did not fit, blah, blah, blah. And you know, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. I wore the dress. I also thought it was a little big, but I mean, do our clothes have to be fitted perfectly for us to wear them? I mean, my sewing was on point, but the dress did fit me a bit too big and I just did not have time to go back and do a bunch of fitting with this one right here. All right, so for the month of April, I only have one make, and that was this denim upcycle bag that I made for my friend. She sent me a pair of jeans from both her and her husband to make this bag that she found on Pinterest, and I definitely nailed it. I really love doing these kind of upcycle projects. But yeah, it was the only thing that I got done in the month of April. Mostly because I was also preparing to go to Atlanta Frock Tales, which was, I believe, like May 4th or 5th in 2024. And so I was creating my muslin and, you know, shopping for my fabric and getting ready for that in the month of April. So speaking of May in Atlanta Frock Tales, here is my dress I made. I used, one second, what pattern did I use for this? Okay, so the pattern used was Simplicity 9894. It was a Mimi G pattern, and instead of using the bralette in the top, I extended the bralette and connected it to the skirt to actually make a dress. And I used this fabric, I believe it's called a boucle fabric. And so I had to line it. So it took me a while to figure out how really just to sew with this fabric and create my muslin and then put my actual dress together. Next up, I made Simplicity 9707. Y'all, at first I did not like this shirt. I didn't like it. I didn't like the fabric choice. It was just given grandma, old lady on the mannequin. But when I put it on and I styled it up, I immediately regretted all the bad thoughts I had about this shirt because it really was a very cute shirt. All right, next up I had a custom order for a few of these FAMU fanny packs. Y'all, I have a lot of FAMU family, and so I make one thing and by word of mouth I end up making a lot of FAMU paraphernalia throughout the year, and so these were two of the fanny packs that I made. All right, my last make for the month of May in 2024 was New Look 6554, which was this jumpsuit I made to attend a tropical themed birthday party. Okay, I lied. I did have a fail in the month of June. It was McCall's 8359, which is a Brandy Joan pattern. It is a milkmaid dress. Y'all, I was so sad that this was a fail because I really wanted this to work. I absolutely wanted this to work, but the fail was on my part. I sewed this dress with this very thin fabric, and at the last minute I decided I think I should align this dress. Sure enough, I wore it outside and I realized I should have lined this dress. When I tell you you could see straight through it, you could see straight through it. So I went back and tried to line it on the back end and it just didn't work. All the fabric started to like move and contort and I just could not get the fit right. It is still sitting in my whip pile, and one day I'm gonna pull it out and try to fix it, or maybe I will just take the fabric apart and do something else with it. Who knows? But this was some really gorgeous fabric that I wasted, and I just hate that. All right, so let's get into June, my favorite month because it's my birth month, and my birthday is the 1st, so I feel like, and I do celebrate the entire month of June. So the first thing I made in June was this self-drafted cover-up with this gorgeous Georgette fabric that I got from Minerva. And oh yeah, I became a Minerva ambassador last year. Whoop, whoop. It was announced in April. I applied, I think in March when they were looking for new ambassadors, and I applied and I got accepted on the first go round. So I was pretty ecstatic about that. And so this fabric here was some of the first fabric I received, and I made this cover up for my birthday vacation in St. Martin, and you guys, it was a hit. I wanted a very like classic looking cover up that I could wear really without a swimsuit, that I could just wear as a cover up, you know, with the dress, with the swimsuit, something that would look cute with a pair of jeans and a tank top. And I feel like I hit the nail on the head with this one. All right, my second make for June was a shirt for my husband. It was the first thing I ever made for him, and I used Simplicity 8753. Unfortunately, I do not have any pictures of him in the shirt. However, I can confirm that he has worn the shirt. I just didn't take any pictures. And my husband is not me. He is not about to pose for a bunch of pictures. He's like, if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. You're bad. And so I didn't get any pictures of him wearing this shirt, and I need to make sure he wears it again. Maybe I'll plan something so he can put the shirt on and I can get a couple pictures because I need those. All right, next up I made 3 more of the same fanny pack. I'll put the information to the pattern in the description because right now the name escapes me, but I made 2 in the FAMU print and 1 in a print that the customer wanted. All right, and my next 3 makes were all a part of a new look challenge that I took part in last year. This challenge was hosted by Rochelle from Rochelle Handmade. It was where we had to create a look using new look patterns. So of course I had to do the most. I used 3 different patterns to get my look. First, I created a denim bag using upcycled denim, and I used New Look 6582 to create this bag. And y'all, when I tell you, this bag was tough. I thought I was just gonna be able to go in, zoom, 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 create this bag and be done. But those little circle end caps literally almost took me out. I don't know why they were so hard to sew on. Well, there is piping and it's a circle, and I realized your girl need to practice sewing circles. I need to practice sewing circles because them little bitty circles almost took me out. I almost threw that whole bag away, but eventually I got it. And so next up, I created this gorgeous denim corset that is probably by far my favorite make ever. Probably my most worn make ever. But I used New Look 6242. And what I did was I used 3 pair of jeans. I cut the bottoms off, the bottom legs off, so that I could use that bottom cuff as my top hem, I guess, of the corset. And y'all, chef's kiss. Chef's Kiss. I also put a bag zipper on the back, a pink bag zipper, which at the time made a lot of sense because I knew I was gonna make a pink skirt to go with this denim corset. And speaking of the skirt that I made for this challenge was New Look 6623. It was a very simple silky skirt, and y'all, if you're looking for a skirt that does not need a lot of fabric and that is very, very easy and quick to sew, 6623. I would definitely recommend that pattern. All right, so jumping into July. July was a hackathon challenge, which is hosted by Chris from Unsocial. Or I should say it was created by Chris from Unsocial. I know this year in 2025, she was partnered with Diana and they both hosted it. But in 2024, she was the only host and I was an ambassador for the challenge. And so pretty much what you do is hack. You take existing patterns and you hack them into something completely different. So last year I was partnered with Shamir from Shim So Creative. And FYI, I did make a video about the hackathon challenge last year. I'll put it somewhere up in the cards at the top of this video, as well as in the description box below. But our category was skirts. And y'all, I hacked my skirt into this gorgeous dress. I also did shearing for the first time, and it was fun. Like, it was kind of nerve-wracking. I didn't know if I'd be able to do it just because it seems difficult, but it's not difficult at all. It's a little bit tedious and definitely time-consuming, but difficult, not at all. Okay, so interestingly enough, I was in the August edition of Sewn magazine last year as well, and I didn't realize that until this very moment. So last year I was doing a whole lot of denim hacks. I was doing a whole lot of denim hacks with that corset, with that bag I made, and somehow, I don't remember which one of my friends, but they sent me an advertisement that Sewn magazine put out about denim refashions. And I had so much going on that I reached out to Michelle and she was like, yes, let's do it. Send me all your pictures. And it was like early July. And I know they usually put these magazines together months in advance. So I had my corset, I had my denim bag. I decided to go ahead and make a denim skirt so that I would have a full denim outfit. And here are some of the pictures that were featured in the magazine. And so the last make for July was none other than a denim bag. However, this time I used Simplicity 9618. You guys, this is the Marc Jacobs inspired tote. I really love this pattern. If you don't have this pattern and you're interested in bag making, I highly, highly recommend. Like, there's so many ways you can hack this pattern, or you could just create it as it's intended, but use denim. You will not regret it. Y'all, I totally almost forgot about these cute, super cute jeans that I also hacked. I saw this picture on my Pinterest board and I knew immediately that I had to do this hack. I had these pants that I was not very much in love with, but I did not want to get rid of. And so I decided to do this hack and it was an absolute hit. So for the month of August, I only had 2 makes. I had a little bit of travel in the month of August. Plus August is always back to school, so it's a little slow for me when it comes to sewing. But you guys, I created this really cute lounge set using Nomi 2046, and I lied earlier. Earlier when I said that corset was one of my most worn makes, it's probably number 2. It's probably my second most worn make, because this loungewear set, by far the most worn make that I have. I keep saying I want to make more loungewear because I feel like the return on investment is so high. 80% of the time, I'm in loungewear or walking around the house in an old t-shirt. But this right here is very much elevated and I need more. So I definitely plan to make more elevated loungewear for myself in the near future. And the last make I have for the month of August was McCall's 8505. Y'all, this little sexy number right here. I was motivated to make this because it was also the Sew Your View for August last year. And when I tell you this dress is a head turner, I feel like the fabric was perfect. The dress is just so cute, so sexy, and it's super flattering. Like, I don't have a lot up here. I don't have a lot of boobage, but the coverage is nice. Stacy, So Stacy, who is a lot more voluptuous than I am, she made the dress. I think she made like a few versions of the dress and also looks gorgeous in the dress. So I would say I highly recommend this one. I mean, do what you do, but I think this is a cute dress. So in the month of September, I actually have a lot of bags here on the list. First off, I have this self-drafted bag that I made for one of my really good friends. Y'all, I think she sent me this fabric in March of 2024, and it took both of us a while. It took her a while to decide exactly what she wanted, and then I was able to make it in September. To be honest, I don't think she even told me what she wanted until around August anyway. And so I created a muslin for this bag, but I don't have any pictures of that. But here is the final make. She had a significant amount of fabric left over, and so she decided she wanted another bag. This one is the Sunshine Crossbody Bag by Bagstock Designs, which I'll link in the description box. I pulled out 9618 again to create a FAMU themed denim bag. And y'all, this one right here was definitely one of my favorites. One of my family friends, she saw the first bag I made and she's like, hey, I need one of those. And since she's a FAMU alumni and I have a lot of orange and green in my stash, I decided to jazz this one up a little bit. She gave me creative freedom, and so this is what I came up with. All right, my next make, McCall's 8403, was actually one, I believe I cut this one out in around May or April of 2024. It was a Sew Your View. I thought it was super cute. I cut it out but did not get around to it until September. And y'all, I really like this dress. I bought this fabric in Dallas at I believe Fabric Warehouse, and I was so excited to cut into this, and I feel like this combination was just perfect. Okay, Simplicity 9539. Y'all, this dress right here was about 1.5 years in the making. I actually started making it when I was deployed to Europe in 2023. I wanted to take this dress with me to Italy on one of my mini trips that I took while I was over there, because why not? I wanted to make it in a white linen-like flowy fabric. Y'all, I started making this dress in that white fabric. I don't know if I have any footage from that. If I do, I will definitely insert it. But I started making it and it was just really stiff. It was given like nurse uniform. And so I was like, maybe I should switch the fabric. So I went and I found a cotton lawn in this really light color pink. And I started making it again. And I did not like the way it was looking. It was looking really stiff, and the dress I wanted was more flowy. So I called my husband like, hey, you know that leopard fabric that I have right there on the second shelf in my fabric drawer, can you send it to me? Because I felt like, just from what I was getting with the fabric and the structure of that dress, that it would look really nice in a flowy fabric. And was I right or was I right? The dress now, immaculate, chef's kiss, perfect. But it took me almost 3 versions to get to this, but I'm so glad that I did, y'all, because I love this dress. All right, lastly, in the month of September, I pattern tested for these patterns. And y'all, I created this jumpsuit, which is so cute. It's my go-to travel outfit. It is an off-the-shoulder sweatsuit top as well as wide leg sweatpants. And I'm all about the wide leg pants, all about them. So I was so happy to get to pattern test this pattern, and I love it down. I will be making another version this fall. So in October, my first make was a repeat make of Simplicity 9597. I love this dress. I love the silhouette. It is like the perfect summer dress in my opinion. So I made another version, but this time I shortened it and I made it with this really gorgeous Minerva fabric. So I also ran back Simplicity 9707, which was the shirt pattern, but this time I created it in a sheer like leopard print, and I lengthened it almost all the way down to the floor. And all I have to say about this is I have not worn it enough. I cannot wait until it cools off here a little bit so I can bring back a lot of the fall makes that I made last year. And so my next two makes for October were these two custom bags that I made. One was a custom order I got for a customer. This guy wanted a red bag for his wife, and after showing him a bunch of different options, he chose this bag pattern right here, which is also by Bagstock Designs. And like I said, I will link all of the bag patterns and every single pattern here. I will link it in the description box. But he wanted this bag, and since I really needed a black bag, I just decided to make two, because maybe it's girl math or sewer's math, but sometimes I feel like if I'm making one, I might as well just make two, and that was definitely the case for this bag right here. But we only have 2 months left. So November, I made Nomi 2063, which is Brittany J. Jones's jumpsuit pattern, which I just think is so very cute. I made this in an Ankara fabric, and I actually made this as a part of the Black Sewing Network's Black and White Challenge featuring Black designers. This fabric was so gorgeous, and I really like this jumpsuit. I actually want to make it again using like a chambray or maybe like a sturdy twill, something similar to what Brittany is wearing on the front of the envelope, where she has on this pink ensemble. I just think that is so cute. In addition to that jumpsuit, I made two bags in the month of November, and I used the same pattern, the self-drafted pattern that I used to create that faux alligator bag that I showed you guys that I did back in September. So here are just two versions of that bag. Lastly, we have December, and I have two makes in the month of December. First up are these garden overalls, y'all, that are literally like years in the making. I always said I wanted a pair of gardening overalls. If you don't know, your girl is an avid gardener. Like, I got a gang of groceries in my backyard. I am the epitome of do all the things. Like, if it's ever something that I wanted to know how to do or do, like, I just jump into it. But gardening has been something, I was gardening before I was sewing, if I'm being honest. My husband and I had our first garden probably 13 years ago at this point, when we lived in California, and it was very difficult to garden. Like, we started with no knowledge. But anyway, I created these overalls using Nomi 2083. I got this fabric from Minerva in one of the packages I got from them. I chose, as soon as I saw this fabric, I knew it would be perfect. And I love these overalls. I really want to make a second pair. Not sure if I'll use the same pattern or not, but I definitely want a second pair because these are so awesome. Like, sometimes I wear them to like my local gardening store, and everybody just gets a kick out of these overalls, and I love wearing them. Last but not least, I made this denim shirt using the shacket pattern, the infamous shacket pattern, Simplicity 9388. At first, I was gonna make a shacket, But then I decided I want a shirt. I want something that I can wear by itself. So I took out an undercollar piece from one of my mini shirt patterns. And then I also just curved the bottoms of the shirt just to give it a unique flair. And I really like how this shirt came out. Is it heavy? Yes, it's definitely a bottom weight fabric, but I like that about the shirt because it's very, very warm. And y'all know I'm in Texas. It's something that I could wear in like December and not have to wear something over it. So I love it. All right, y'all, so that'll do it. That ends the recap for 2024. And it rips the band-aid off, getting me back into YouTube and long form content. I missed y'all for real. Like, you know, there's community on all different social media, but I feel like YouTube is different because you can really have conversations. You can do a lot more, talk about a lot more on here instead of those kind of real quick, like boom, boom type videos. But I do feel like social media has changed a little bit. Like social media is ever changing. It's ever changing. So let's be clear. It's always changing. But I feel like content has changed, you know, where it's more like blogs and even on like Instagram where it was very short, you see a lot longer type content, but it's like really quick, fast paced, moving stuff instead of like talking heads. So let me know what type of content do you like? What type of things you don't like? What's doing well here on YouTube? Do you still want pattern reviews? Do you still want in-depth sewing tutorials? I know I love a good sewing tutorial. When I pick a pattern, I'll go to Instagram and just see what people have made before, get a quick little synopsis of if they like it and if it looks good or not. And then I come here to YouTube and see if there is a sewing tutorial. Because even if I don't use it to make the pattern, like I just like to let it play in the background. And if I'm being honest, sometimes I just play it before I even get to the pattern, just so I can kind of wrap my head around what needs to happen when I get ready to make it. So let me know what y'all are interested in. I know before I said I was gonna do some bag videos, and I still plan on doing that, especially now that I'm gonna have a whole lot more time on my hands. Yo, I can't believe that after 21 years, it's over. Like it's gonna be over just like that. But it's crazy. It's crazy how life works. It's crazy how fast time flies. It's Monday. Today is a Monday. My daughter and I went to breakfast this morning because guess what? I'm dropping her off at college in just a few days. And we went to breakfast. Today's a Monday. And I was just looking at all the people kind of at breakfast on a Monday. And that was something I never could have done unless I was on vacation or, you know, traveling or what have you. But it's just like, man, what are all these people doing on a Monday morning at 9 o'clock at whatever the name of the waffle place that we went to? So I'm looking forward to a lot more of that, having a lot more time on my hands. I haven't decided if I'm gonna go back to work yet. I just want to relax for a little bit. I just want to relax at least for the rest of 2025 before I jump into a new career. I want to see what this is like. I want to see if I can really take this whole sewing and content creation thing, you know, full time, as well as bag making. Hopefully you already know that I do have a bag brand called the Nina Jo Collective. I also put the links to my Etsy shop as well as Instagram here so you can check that out. But I say all that to say that I've been doing custom bags and I've been taking a few commissions every month, and that's been going really, really well. Obviously something else that has taken up my time, but I love it and it's very fun to be able to create somebody's dream bag for them. But yeah, I think that's it. We got to catch up a little bit. I recapped my 2024 for you guys. I have been sewing a lot. I just have not been here. But now that I'm here, y'all are gonna start seeing a whole lot more from me. I was in the August edition of Soul Magazine. Y'all, I recorded myself creating that dress from scratch. So that'll probably be the next video you see. And then I plan on doing a few bag videos. I want to do a few pencil pouches. In the month of June, I did a bag challenge on my bag making page where I did a bag a day, almost every day. I think it ended up being about 17 days where I did a bag a day every day. And I got a lot of questions about that. So I'm gonna be doing very specific content to answer those questions. I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make some pencil pouches and a lot of different pouches. I know I've been making bags for a long time, but people always comment about how they look so professional. So my goal is to show you guys exactly what I do, exactly how to make your bags look just like mine. So if you're not subscribed, I hope you decide to stick around. If you were one of my day ones, you've been here for a while, hey, how you doing? I miss you. But I'm excited to be back, and I'll see y'all in the next video.